You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
What's up? Happy Monday, I guess.
Hey, everybody.
We got Jeff Wedding. What's going on? We got the pleasure of meeting Jeff last week?
We did, yeah. Jeff got here. We should just get Jeff here, man.
Yeah, right. Kenneth Bird, Preston, what's up? John Spilios, CJ Design, what's going on? Ron, what's going on, buddy?
Thanksgiving week.
What's that?
Thanksgiving week.
Yes,
I'm going to be preoccupied with Hive all day.
With who?
Hive. It's the app where almost every day there's a new app Twitter people are refugeeing to. And today it was Hive.
Oh, Hive is the new one?
And Hive seems to be one where a lot of the comic creators are going.
Uh-huh.
This is a little bit of a name drop. Amanda Deber told me, hey, she's like, that's where I'm going over. And then I happened to notice J. Scott Campbell was over there. So I messaged him and I said, hey, are you going to be over there? He's like, yeah. He's like, a lot of the creators are kind of slowly migrating off Twitter because, it's...
Sean, I'm glad you got your 10-pack. I'm glad it was a good variety for you. If you order more, we'll always try to mix it up, but I can't guarantee we're not exactly like marking down each customer's what we're picking at random for them. But generally speaking, we have a kind of an idea, so we'll make sure we try not to do. But I'm glad you got it, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, my friend. I'm going to be in and out. Some of the viewers, you watched Friday night with Bueller, and then we did last night with Near Mint, Omar and his wife Melanie. They're great people, but those were like 3-4 hour marathons. So I am totally spent. But shocker, John has volunteered to step in and cover for me and just keep on talking. I know it's so unusual.
Well, I figured. I mean, Robbie's going to want to talk about The Godfather a little bit, which has become his sort of project this week.
Oh, that's right. We'll Tonight is Godfather,
Black
right?
Panther a little bit more specifically in detail because it's been out now, 14, 15 days? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, right? 15, 16, 17 days, something like that.
It's been out enough time now that I'm not worried about spoilers. If you haven't seen it by now, shame on you.
Oh, you geek, what's going on, man? She has been loyal. I think she's watching every show this weekend. I mean,
I'm sorry they're not better.
She's probably so tired of seeing my ugly face.
Well, she probably figures maybe they'll get better at some point. I don't know, man. I don't want.
I will mention the Cowboys. Okay, my top 10 list again: Tom Landry, Danny White,
Danny White.
Love him.
Lord, Grandpa. I don't even think AR's dad was alive when Danny White played.
Roger Staubach, his predecessor. Let me see who else. Emmitt Smith. I always loved Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, Emmett's a great one.
I like Troy Aikman after he retired. Actually like Tony Romo after he retired. I love him as a commentator. He's awesome.
Oh, Miss Jen, nobody cares that you ran late.
We didn't even notice.
We didn't even know.
Like this tightly run ship that we run. But I mean, I got to admit though, Robbie, I watched that game last night. I was torn, because Minnesota obviously is right behind us, breathing down our necks in terms of record, and it's the Cowboys. So I'm watching this game going, wow. I really do want the Vikings to lose, but I really don't want the Cowboys to win. So I'm sitting there thinking, is there some way they could both lose at the same time? I'm not sure. What could happen here?
Yeah, I've had that opinion about games before. And I just want to say this, especially, it feels good, especially after last week. And you were talking so much smack. So I would just say, how about them Cowboys?
Let me say this. You've heard me say this before.
Clint Langby, CJ Design is the oldest living human on this show.
Oh, my God.
Clint Langby played 107 years ago.
Craig Morton, that's another one, man. Man, we do have some old guys watching the show, man.
I was
For
going to
real.
say, there's
So I do want to say this. Did I not always say that Kirk Cousins is overrated? I always believed it. Back when
you've always said that. And I agree with you for the most part. However, the rest of that team is pretty solid. And I'm just going to say it was an 8-1 team regardless, right? I mean, that's a good record. The Cowboys dominated that game. I have not seen the Cowboys play that good since the 90s, like for real. Like that was the most complete game.
Well, they couldn't protect Cousins at all. They couldn't. They wouldn't. Yes, CJ, I agree.
But Jones, there's another name. Pretty soon we're going to get Randy White's name out there.
Jones.
I remember when Dallas, they worshipped the ground that guy walked on.
Drew Pearson, another favorite of mine, number 88. But you know, I some of those plays. I mean, you got to give Kirk at least like half a second to throw the ball, and they were on top of him. All right. But dude, you gotta get that ball out of there. You can't be holding on to it, Kirk. They're coming for you, bro.
I was surprised, man, to hold them to just 3 points. That was so good to go into Minnesota and just own the game. They actually cut the game off, like in the third quarter.
Yeah, I know.
Playing the Steelers game, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was getting kind of ugly. Well, that's because you're not in the Dallas market. If you were in the Dallas market, they probably didn't get cut.
Do you have like Red Pass or whatever it is?
I don't, dude. I watch it on network TV and then Prime on Thursdays.
Okay. No, I guess that is Dallas. So Dallas would be your area?
No, in my area, it's the Titans.
Right.
It's the Titans and the Falcons that we see all the time, right? But
I was just trying to figure out what his area was.
They'll also play the Buccaneers and they'll play the Panthers, but they do play a lot of Cowboys too.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of
because they draw a national crowd. But if you're local, like with the Eagles, when the rest of the nation would switch over, the local market would continue to watch the end of the game. So that's what I'm saying. I just realized that's why it happened to you the same way it happened to me.
Yeah, it was pretty much everywhere except for the state of Texas. I bet even in Minnesota they turned that game off. So
probably. Just that was mercy.
Skull is Scandinavian for change the channel.
Everybody was like, "Hey, man, both of these teams got to play on Thursday. Can we just call it right now and just like let them get some rest?"
Brutal, dude. That was brutal. So, where Rupen's son, obviously a soccer fan or football for every other part of the world.
Hey, did we win today? Did we win? We played Wales.
I have no idea. That the entire World Cup is such a.
Isn't England supposed to win? England's booked to win?
No, I don't think so. Right. England isn't usually a powerhouse when it comes to World Cup. I mean, the Premier League is one of the best.
I could have sworn I saw people on like the Fox.
Well, forget about the soccer, dude. I mean, the World Cup this year has been such a PR disaster. I mean,
we tied today, just so y'all know. So we tied. We tied 1-1.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, they've got the thing going on over there now where they're going to have the finals in Qatar or Qatar or however you say it. It's a Muslim country, so they're not going to have any beer there.
No. You haven't been keeping up with the news. Qatar cut a deal with FIFA, and FIFA cut a deal with Budweiser, who's a major sponsor of the World Cup, like year after, every 4 years. They were supposed to have like beer, lots of rules and stuff. They were supposed to have like beer stations that people could go to. 3 days before the World Cup starts, Qatar makes a hard left turn and says, no beer. Talk about a bait and switch.
That sounds like that's a work to me. Like the whole time
anybody
they're like,
that's going to go.
Okay.
I've booked my airline tickets. I've booked my hotel. You're probably already there. And then you pull this bait and switch. Beyond the human rights violations over the last 12 years as they were prepping for it. I mean, that is. And then who picks a place that they change the date because it's like 110 degrees in Qatar during the summer. The last thing you want is people dying from heat exhaustion on the field.
FIFA is the world's NFL. It's like organized crime with like a nice shiny.
Oh no. FIFA makes the NFL look like choir boys. I mean, and I'm not supporting the NFL as an organization, but I'm saying FIFA is so corrupt, dude. All right, they were going to wear the European teams, the Western European teams were going to wear the armband, okay, supporting gay rights or just kind of speaking about that. No, it's worse than that. FIFA has knuckled under. I don't care what your political feelings about it are, but FIFA knuckled under so bad that normally all these teams were expecting a heavy monetary fine. FIFA goes out and says, if you guys wear that, you're going to get a yellow card. Okay? That's never been, yeah, exactly, Marcus. I agree. FIFA is more NCAA times 10. They're so corrupt, dude. They're chasing it with the International Olympic Committee.
Are you sure because of Ted Lasso they make it look like this is so good?
Dude, they're crooks. They're absolutely crooks. Qatar bribed their way into the World Cup. Thank you.
Well, I can't possibly watch a sport where there's corruption.
No, but I mean, this is so naked. It's ridiculous. And then you pick a place that's 110 degrees. You change the date of the World Cup. I mean, FIFA. My God, it's like.
Well, let's be honest. The Olympic Committee isn't that on the up and up either.
No, I agree with that. But FIFA is naked. I mean, they are just so.
Winter Olympics in Russia, and people had like rooms that were duct tape and drywall, like no studs. So the wind would blow, and you would see like the whole block of rooms go.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but on like a lazy Saturday, I'll watch Premier League on TV.
You know what? I'm officially unofficial geek wants you to have your own show, so I'm going to leave. I know I can take.
I can't. I got to have my boy John here. Are you kidding me? And Robbie, but thank you, Preston. That's exactly my point. Yikes. They are so corrupt, and market's transparent corruption. You know, we don't want to offend Qatar. How much money did they give you? I mean, it's ridiculous that they would make this, and I don't know what they're going to do about Budweiser, because Budweiser
oil comes from that. Oil's in they have oil industry in Qatar, right? Right.
That's what I heard. Well, women's softball that's got FIFA beat. Women's softball is
better watch it, CVB.
We know some of the people associated with that sport.
I'm just saying that's another one of the reasons why everybody will like kowtow to Qatar or those Middle Eastern countries. Like, look at the relationship we have with Saudi Arabia, but we condemn like Russia, but then we're cool with the places where we get our oil from, and it's so weird and
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's double standard sometimes.
I mean, the IOC does it too.
Thing apart. If you like, everything is so grown in with each other that if you start, people are like, well, why don't they do something about it? You know how far back they have to roll to unravel like what Robbie said?
I don't know, but when you get down to you can deal with the human rights violations and ignore all that stuff, but they got a problem with Budweiser.
Well, hurry up before official geek throws me off the show. Read some books.
Well, no, I'm serious. They're gonna have a big problem with Budweiser. I mean, they paid billions of dollars as in sponsorship money, expecting that they're gonna sell beer, right? Now, if you're Budweiser, I mean, you're not just gonna sit down and say, "Oh, okay, no big deal."
You know what I'd do if I was Budweiser? Right through the gates of the stadium, I'd run the Clydesdales. The whole song.
Those poor horses would die in that heat, dude.
Yeah, that's true, right?
All right, so first up, we only have one best offer book tonight.
One?
Right? Yeah, I'm telling you, listen.
What is this show, 40 minutes? Good night, everybody.
Well, no, because you could manage to fill about an hour and a half just talking by yourself. All right, Red Sonja number 8, premium metal virgin cover by Joseph Michael Linzer. Suggested retail of $100, and it is a best offer book starting at $50. And let me see, who asked? I think it was Thomas. Hold on. Is Thomas on Facebook? Maybe. All right, let me see here. All right, so Thomas. Hypocrisy is an art. Good point, CJ. Yes, Thomas is on Facebook. So Thomas, if you have an opportunity to switch over to YouTube, you can see everybody else's comments as well.
He probably doesn't want to. He just wants the slabs, right?
Yeah. Well, fair enough. But thanks for joining us, Thomas. We'll rant about something else in a couple of minutes. All right, so you know what? Let's segue into the slabs. All right, so tonight's giveaway, however,
I was going to say we have a giveaway, right?
We do have a giveaway. All right, so tonight's giveaway
it's going to be this chair. Do you want to co-host the show?
It'll be John. We're giving away John.
Yikes.
All right. Is Eternals Thanos Rises CGC graded 9.8? All right. And all you have to do to enter the sweepstakes for a drawing to win this is throw up, I don't know, Jay, what do you want to do? Hashtag LoveEXP, all lowercase. How about that? All right. So basically,
Thanos, he's on like a keto diet on this cover, man. Thanos is usually,
hasn't been working out.
He's chunky.
All right.
Thanos is real slim.
Oh, Marcus, I kind of like that one actually. He's got hashtag FIFA rules. Yeah, what the heck? Are you all right? Never mind. Jay, are you with me? All right. So Neil's already gotten in there. So it is hashtag LoveEXP. All lowercase.
Guitar Hero, I like that one.
Guitar Hero. That's a good one. And we'll do the drawing right after best offer ends, which is at 7:55. All right. So all you got to do is throw up hashtag LoveEXP, all lowercase, and you will be automatically entered to win for the drawing for the Eternal Thanos Rises 9.8. You're missing a P, Ron. So I thought he was saying hashtag love Rex, but
that would be the next giveaway.
All right. So yeah. So no, I'm really bent about the whole World Cup thing. I mean, that's crazy. And then the guy tries to defend it. The chairman of FIFA tries to defend it and tries to like.
Well, what's he do? I mean, seriously.
He's trying to turn it as about love and people shouldn't jump. Dude. Come on.
That's the world we live in.
Migrant workers have died. Thousands. I think they said 6,000 migrant workers have probably died.
Yeah, but this is what people do, though. There's no accountability. There's no responsibility. People just flip stuff around. I see it in every sports, entertainment, politics.
You see, I've been watching these Godfather films, right? And this week we're talking about Godfather Part 2, and that one is where they go to Cuba and the mob's there and the revolution's happening, and then all this other stuff's going on with Vegas and the senator, and I'm like, this sounds like a plot from a Mario Puzo movie, man. This is what it sounds like.
I gotta tell you, I mean, Godfather 2 for me was almost better than the first one, but the first one is the first one, and Marlon Brando, the whole nine yards.
That's like a big film school debate, right? When you talk about what sequels are better than the original. One of the first movies that comes out of anybody's mouth is The Godfather Part 2.
I got to say that I think that Godfather Part 2 was overall better made, but the first movie is the canon. I mean, that's where it all comes from. So it kind of evens out for me. But I think from a cinematic standpoint, I thought 2 was done better.
A bigger budget, probably.
Yeah, well, that's true.
For me, the movie that has the biggest jump from 1 to 2 in terms of being good, a lot of people will say Empire, and I think Empire is much better than Star Wars, but I don't think it's that much better. For me, it's always Mad Max, and then you get Road Warrior.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
You watch the original Mad Max from like 1979 or 80, it's almost unwatchable. It's almost shot like on an 8mm handheld.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then you get to Road Warrior.
For me, it's Bride of Frankenstein, right? Where a movie that is definitively, I think, better than the original, even though I love the original as well. But Bride of Frankenstein is right up there with Godfather 2 and Road Warrior as some of the greatest sequels of all time.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's got like a zillion Amazon thumbs up or whatever. There's nobody that doesn't like that movie.
Are you doing the version that was? You remember they re-released the entire Godfather series?
Yeah, the Godfather Coda.
But was it in chronological order?
Yeah, that's the Godfather saga. That was the one that they put on TV, where it starts with Robert De Niro as a young Vito, and it goes through that way. Yeah,
I kind of like that one. It's cool, but telling the story in that chronological order, I kind of liked it.
It's cool, but there's something about a big part of why I love Godfather 2 so much is its structure with its parallel stories being told, right? And they're kind of touching on each other, and I really like that touch. But I remember watching that all the time, like, because that's when it would come on TV. It would be the Godfather saga, and they actually utilized some scenes that got cut out of the movie for that cut. So that's an interesting way to watch it too.
CJ Design, Porky's Two Rocks.
No, I mean, a lot of people don't even know that Road Warriors was a sequel.
Yes, because Mad Max was such a small
film.
You
used to have to go to like the obscure video store. Like now Blockbuster didn't have Mad Max. It was always that kind of sketchy video store on like the other side of town. Maybe it was in an auto parts store or something, and then you would find it. And I remember I watched it for 10 minutes. I shut it off. I took off the top of my VCR. I cleaned the heads. I put it back in, and the movie still looked that way. And then it dawned on me, this is what Australian cinema looked like for a low-budget movie in 1979.
OU Geek, I have to agree that the Tina Turner soundtrack was the best. The movie was okay. I don't know if it was as good as the second one. The first one I remember seeing with some friends, and I think it was a matinee in the summer or something. We paid like $1 to get in, and we were just looking to kill time. It was too hot outside, and no expectations. You know, all we knew about the movie was the one sheet in the theater and stuff, and it looked kind of cool. You know, and we go in there, and I actually enjoyed it.
That's because our expectations were different then, right? Like we go to see a movie now, we've in some cases seen all the best parts of the movie. You know what I mean? So one of the movies they didn't do that with that I'm really glad for was Smile. Like you saw like a few things, but at least in the first batch of previews, they didn't kind of like put the whole thing out there.
Right.
They did it with Barbarian too. They put a little bit out there, but most of Barbarian, you know, it kind of hit you blindsided because you didn't know it was coming.
Right.
Those movies came out very close together. And I remember thinking this is like a good Halloween season for non-franchise movies.
We'll see. All right. So let me throw a couple more items out there before we got to go to our first break. So Sean Butler segued into this. As always, we have the Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles. Each one will have a cover price of $3.99 or higher. So suggested retail of about $40 or higher. And as always, a thank you to our very loyal EXP viewers. We have it for $5, so 50 cents a copy. If it is the only thing that you buy and you would like us to ship it via media mail, we can certainly do that, no problem. And you'll save a bunch. That'll be like $5 as opposed to the I think it's like 12 or 13 within the continental United States. But that we'll be happy to do that. You just need to indicate that to us on submission form.
Marcus, I have not reached 20 watches yet.
What are you at?
Panther. I'm at 17. So essentially, I've seen it.
Hairs.
Essentially, I've seen it every day it's been out. Numerically, there are some days where I skipped, and other days where I saw it multiple times.
Oh, you slip it.
But Thanksgiving, man, it's a rough time for a Marvel movie to come out.
All right,
for me.
So I'm going to throw another book out there. Fear Itself: Sins Past, signed by Jim McCann. And we have one available, number 62 of 100, and we have it for $19.62.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, OU Geek, you have no idea the commitment John has to watching a movie. Tell us again, how many times did you see Endgame in theaters?
In theaters, I've seen Endgame first run, not when it was 37 times.
Okay, how many times would you say you've seen it since altogether?
Oh, I've probably once I got Disney Plus, the numbers just got stupid. I've seen Endgame probably over 100 times.
Because 37's not stupid.
My wife thinks I've watched Civil War like way more than anything else. She's like, almost every day I would go upstairs to the TV room and you have that on. And you're just giggling while Captain America and Winter Soldier are beating up Iron Man. She's like, I know from your giggle what part of the movie it is.
Hey Lars, man. Hey,
CJ Design, that's an illness.
We can bundle things up. Just let us know. You know that. You can email me and Amy, and we'll bundle things up and hold on to stuff for you if necessary. All right. So, yeah, CJ Design, that's an illness. Yeah, if you can afford that illness.
It was funny.
That's a lot of time, John. That's a lot of time. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's just a lot of time. I enjoy your commitment, and I enjoy your enjoyment. That's a lot of
time, dude.
I guess so.
For so much of my life, I was working, and like I didn't go into theater at all. I would wind up seeing something on HBO or whatever months later. TV shows too. People would be like, "Oh man, are you watching this? It's great." No, not at all. I've never seen that because I'm at work or whatever. Now I enjoy the whole get up, let the dog out, have my coffee, have the second cup of coffee, let everybody drive on the highways and byways to work, and then I shoot over to the movie theater. Lunch.
Yes, he does. Hey, where Rubenstein Lars, man, let us know, buddy. I know that at least domestic rates have stayed kind of stable, but shipments to Canada are fluctuating so much. It's almost never quite the same, but we can definitely hold on stuff, let it bundle up and ship it in one one shipment if you guys want. But you just gotta let us know. Because the other thing is we do try to get packages out as soon as possible so you guys aren't waiting on it, right?
Yeah, see, you just said it. Everybody's got a thing. For some people, it's Doctor Who, or some people will watch Star Wars. Like, just it's all they'll do.
Yeah, but watching Doctor Who episodes does not have the same financial burden as seeing Endgame 37 times.
You know who he is, dude? He's got the Regal card. He's fine.
No, back then they didn't have a Regal card. Back then, that was me spending $20 in an IMAX theater. When I talk about like I was invested in Endgame, it wasn't just emotionally. I remember I had the Amex receipts to prove it. There was a significant investment, and I insisted on seeing it in IMAX or 3D or whatever. I can't just see a regular format movie.
And then John found the Regal card, the VIP card, and then
that's the best.
Just a couple of months ago, they declared bankruptcy.
You're
connected? I don't know. Okay, maybe. All right. So we got to take our first break. So stay with us, and we'll be back for who knows what we'll talk about.
Maybe books.
Yeah, maybe.
Get the inside scoop on everything happening at the experience every week. Join our mailing list by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen and then watching your email inbox.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite news show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere The Experience is all the time.
All right, and we're back. And Lars Man has an interesting idea. But Lars Man, I think your idea would actually get Ron killed.
What? Wait a minute. How long was I gone?
And not that long. Read what Lars Man suggested.
Nick needs to do a show for our spouses. Oh, my goodness. Oh, we can't use the word whatnot. That's no good.
Well,
that's going to be a lawsuit.
Well, Lars Man's going to get Ron killed, first and foremost. Preston, Yeah, you got Chapek fired.
Everyone that has a significant other, I'll put it that way, has at some point had to have the conversation of, this is my hobby, this is my passion. I don't care who you are, where you live, or whatever. Really good friend of mine, she simply had to tell her husband, clearly, I need to own every episode of Dark Shadows. At first, you're thinking, oh, you know what? It's a couple DVD boxes. What's the big deal? Dark Shadows has, I forget how many episodes. It was a soap opera on for years.
Yeah, it was.
Like, there's well over 1,000 episodes of this show. And that is a significant in financial investment.
Yeah, and there was a time in my life where I was trying to get into it, right? Because I'd heard about it, soap opera, but it's like, vampires and stuff. So I got the first DVD collection back in the early 2000s. I watched through it. I loved it. And then I realized how long it was. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't do it.
People, well, especially when people start from the beginning, I always tell people, I love Dark Shadows. It's one of my absolute favorite things. I tell people to start with season 2. Season 1 is essentially like a gothic romance soap opera. There's little to no supernaturality to that. It isn't until season 2 where Cousin Barnabas arrives from London and things start getting a little, there's very little in the way of spookiness. I saw a interview with Dan Curtis, the guy who's kind of responsible for this. And he said he was asked to do kind of like a gothic romance thing for soap opera. And he did it. And the ratings were terrible. And he's talking to the ABC Daytime's head of television, right? Wow. And he's like, we're going to bounce this. We're sorry, Dan. And he's like, we're having like the traditional 3 martini lunch. And Dan Curtis was in the industry for a long time. He understood how things goes. And he said, I really don't want to do this to you. He's like, do you have anything else that you can throw in this thing? You've had a murder, or who done it. You had this, you had infidelity. This person's dating that person's husband, whatever. He's like, do you have anything else? Dan Curtis says he finishes his scotch. He puts it on a bar, puts out a cigarette. And he's like, I could always do a vampire. And there's dead silence at the bar. The bartender looks at the studio guy as he's cleaning up the bar, and he's like, I'd watch a soap opera with a vampire. Because the guy worked at night and he had days off, so he watched soap opera.
I never really got into it, but my mom would watch it religiously. She loved it.
Yeah, it's over 1,200 episodes. It's free on Tubi. It's free on something else too, I think.
Hey, Lefty. Sorry, I didn't say hi. What's going on, buddy?
But it's sort of, it's... Yeah, and it's been remade twice, right? They redid one, I guess, in the 90s with Ben Cross as Barnabas Collins, and that was very well done. It's a shame that didn't make it. It was just one season, and they did a good job because they kind of did like the greatest hits.
Right.
Like they told them, hey, look, man, this is 1,000 episodes. You got to get to the highlights here, right? So they got to the highlights pretty quickly. Then they did like the Johnny Depp thing where they turned it into a comedy, and I think for all intents and purposes, that sort of ended.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a little bit self-serving, but I'll tell you right now, if you really enjoyed Dark Shadows and you've seen all the episodes, or maybe you don't want to chew through 1,000 episodes, Dynamite did a very cool run of Dark Shadows. Like they really sort of managed to capture the essence of Dark Shadows. And that's a much easier 27 issues or whatever it is. Then
Lars, man, it is Jay producer tonight.
Me too.
OU Geek, yeah, she hated the Depp one.
Yeah, the Depp one is, and I'm not going to get into the Johnny Depp thing. I enjoy some of his work. I understand his personal issues, whatever, but I enjoy most of his work. And I understand he probably felt like he was doing a good job. This is like a studio thing. Whoever, and this is why a lot of times I blame editors in comics.
Right.
Creators are like kids in a candy store, especially if you don't give them any guidance. So when somebody said, hey, we're going to do Dark Shadows as a comedy, right then and there, some studio person, producer, whatever, should have said, no, period. That's it. No conversation, no discussion, no. It's the same way when someone comes up with Marvel, these horrible ideas. Hey, everybody's going to be a villain. Nobody's going to be a hero. We're here. No.
Preston. Dark Shadows and All My Children were my thing as both featured bloodsuckers.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching literally shooting over there. Yeah, Quentin Collins is a werewolf. And I'll tell you right now, Audible has some very cool Dark Shadows content with Lara Parker and David Selby, who played Quentin Collins. These people lent their voices to stuff. There's also an independent thing out there that someone did with David Collins, the young boy grown up, and now he's an old man, and he's sort of like the ghost whisperer, which was his thing in Dark Shadows. He could see ghosts.
All right, so let me get to a couple of books. All right,
you have any Dark Shadows books here?
Not tonight. I didn't know the conversation would
next
go that
Halloween.
Way. All right, so next up we have Uncanny X-Men *1, Young variant, signed in gold by Scotty Young. We have one available, number 13 of 15 signed. It is suggested retail of $89.99, and it's one of our 5-star at $50 books.
And I got to tell you, I would love a little Magneto figure. Holy cow!
Yeah, I think they may have done one because they did a whole line of like Scotty Young inspired little statues.
Really?
Yeah, they did. They think they're called like little mini marbles or something like that. And this cover works in particular. I mean, Scotty Young's work is cool, but it's that color, the red on Cyclops, just it makes it work so well. I got to meet Scotty Young, hung out a little bit with him. He was at the bar at a Heroes Con. Very cool dude. Very cool dude. I guess that's a name drop. So if you're counting, so
Lars, man, hey, I just found love on the XP. Hey, when the bots are attacking us, I know we made it.
I was going to say, you must have made it when you start getting these horrible porn bots or whatever these are, man. Like, really?
All right, you know what? Let's do...
Marcus, welcome to Collinwood.
Let's do a CCA.
My shirt is on back order, by the way.
What?
My shirt is on back order. Remember I had the Barnabas Collins shirt? I bought 2. The other one was the Collinport newspaper. And you saw it. This one's more subtle, and it has "girl missing," like mysterious night thing or whatever. You know, Collinport Cannery.
All right. So next up, we have Mighty Avengers #1, signed with the Shuri Black Panther cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail $149.99. We have the one available for $75.
Wow, man! He did some nice job with the colors. I really like what he did with their costume. Like the vibranium laced costume, I guess now.
20 minutes. Wait. Bots equals success. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, CJ.
Neil, I got to see it as well. Unlike John, who's seen it now,
Creative
17.
Wants it. It's nice.
All right, you got it, Creative.
That's a good pickup. And notice, nice collars. Right? There's a collar there. There's a collar there.
I guess Mariano was paying attention.
He was on his game that day.
All right, so one more book. Let's throw another one out there. Spider-Girl #1, 5-part limited series, signed by Paul Tobin.
Marcus says you should watch Black Panther with your estranged son who called last week. Oh, man, Dad?
Oh, yeah, I probably should. You think he paid for it?
I'm like, what's the matter with you?
Oh, my God. My daughter spends all my money. Are you kidding me? So we have one available, number 8 of 9, and we have the one available for $19.62.
Do they still do this version of Spider-Girl? I mean, they've kind of messed with this so much, it's hard to keep track now.
Yeah, she's in the recent Spider-Verse stuff going on right now, and the Dan Slott, Mark Bagley one. But she's back to being. There was another name, right? Because am I thinking this is the same character, right? Like Arana or something like that.
Yeah. Or
there's so many Spider people nowadays. It's almost hard to keep up with it, right?
They've done what? They've done Spider-Verse, Edge of Spider-Verse. They've done a ton of, Spider-Punk is a really entertaining book. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like the height of comics achievement, but it's a really entertaining book.
Gotcha, Lars, man, by the way. All right, on the claim.
If you have Marvel Unlimited, they've got even more. Infinity Comics, whatever. Like every version of Spider-Man has his or her own, or its own, because one of them is like a robot.
And they just wrapped up another volume of Edge of Spider-Verse. They're doing a new Spider-Verse series that's in Spider-Man. That's called The End of the Spider-Verse. And we'll see about that, right? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
But Lars Man says he's not ashamed to love Spider-Girl in the universe where Pete has one arm.
I'll tell you the alternate the alt Spider-Man I wish we saw more of is just the Peter Parker that has 4 arms.
Oh.
Somewhere out there in the Spider-Verse, he might have died, I'm not 100% sure, but there was the Peter Parker where he never lost the extra arms.
Oh, so he had 6 arms.
6 arms, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I love that. That was the Morbius first appearance stuff, right? Like that Gil Kane era. Is that where that happened? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where that happened. I remember in the animated series in the 90s being very stoked when they got to that story and his other arms sprouted out. And then I always thought Man Spider was gnarly. Like when he fully goes Monster Spider.
Oh, yeah. He's got the... Oh, yeah. Oh. Well, and then Alex Ross did another one I thought was particularly creepy. Earth X or maybe Universe X. I might get that wrong, but it's from that X period that Alex Ross did where it's spiders, man. And basically it's just a colony of spiders in the shape of a man. They put on like a coat and a hat. That, I remember the first time I read that.
That is kind of creepy.
Well, I mean, creepiness was not something I initially associated with Alex Ross's work. We've talked about him a million times. I think even though it's kind of cliche, he is comics Norman Rockwell in terms of like style.
I would agree. Yeah.
But when he started doing stuff that creepy, I was like, that really weirded me out. I mean, it's a great story, but it just weirded me out. Like I didn't know he had that. I didn't expect to see that. When he did Peter Parker middle-aged looking like Uncle Ben, I'm like, yeah, that's an Alex Ross take on the character.
Right.
Then he has to put the costume back on and his guts hanging out of it and what.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, this one I picked because I love the cover. Fantastic Four number 585, signed by writer Jonathan Hickman. We have one available, 11 of 25. And we have this one available for $19.61.
Fantastic run on a fantastic book called Fantastic Four. Jonathan Hickman's run is my 3rd favorite in the entire history of the Fantastic Four, right behind Kirby and Byrne, right? Like, I think this is a legendary take on the characters. This is an amazing cover. Alan Davis, come on. What more do you want?
All right, Preston, got you, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not going to last long. That's
so Neil went to watch Arachnophobia back in the day with someone scared to death with spiders. And man, it was kind of funny. That was actually a surprisingly good movie, dude.
I remember people leaving the theater in Arachnophobia. Like people discovered they had Arachnophobia during the movie because it was creepy. It was real creepy.
It was. I remember watching it with my then ex-wife, my daughter's mom, and she's deathly afraid of spiders. Oh, that was an interesting experience, boy. Figure drawing, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us, bud. So you're going to the shore for Thanksgiving.
I am going to the shore for Thanksgiving.
So he will not be with us Wednesday. What are you doing, Robbie? Anything interesting?
Nothing interesting, just the typical thing. Go to the families, eat some turkey, watch some football.
There you go. What's the Thursday night game?
The Thursday night one? Because there's 3 games this week, right?
I think there's 3 games, right?
Yeah. But there's what's the night? Well, it's always the Lions, right?
Yeah, the Lions always play and we always play.
Yeah, you guys always play too. That's right.
Yeah, we're
weird. I made little finger taps on my sister's head during Arachnophobia.
Dude, talk to me for 2 days.
Why?
Oh my god!
I hope this wasn't like a little kid, man. That'd be terrible.
So a large man.
Lions and Bills start everything off. We got the Giants, but the night game's going to be the Vikings and Patriots. Did you see that? Did you see that Patriots game by any chance with the Jets? It's like 3-3 the entire game. And at the very end, just this explosive punt return. The first one I think that the NFL had this year. It was such a weird game, man.
You know what? Once again, the Jets QB killers for whatever reason. Zach Wilson, dude. What did they have in the second half? 4 yards on offense, dude. That ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, it was bad. Like his final stat like -9 or something.
Something like that. It was brutal.
That's rough, man. You're not gonna win any games going backwards.
No.
See, that should be a golf score. When you're like negative, it should just be like nil. Like when we play golf, me and my friends, if it's too bad, it's just there's no score. It's nil. It's just like a slash on the card. We have a buddy take like 8 strokes on a hole where it's like a par 4. Now you're good. Just take the ball. We're moving on.
All right. So let me see. Preston, I don't think we have any more Namor stuff for tonight. I'm sorry, my friend. Let me double check, make sure. Yeah, I don't think so.
Do you have stuff from last week, or is that all gone? The Namor stuff, or did we sell it all?
You mean the cover sketches?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we sold them.
We sold them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Stevie B. I know, man. The defense is phenomenal. The Jets' defense is just phenomenal this year, but QB problems, man. So Weird says, well, that would make sense because they probably couldn't even get home with all the snow they got.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the headquarters of my wife's company is in Orchard Park. And they just were like, they were sending people home, and they were even telling people, don't come here. Yeah. Like, just stay home. Don't.
Well, there was some concern whether or not the Bills could even get to Detroit. They couldn't even get out of town. That was a big concern.
I mean, it was 6 feet of snow, 71 inches or whatever. I mean, that's.
Yeah, that was absolutely.
I can't even imagine that. Like, I've been seeing pictures of people like opening their doors and they're just shoving their beers in the snow. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a refrigerator.
Yeah, it works.
It's a lake effect thing, and we're far from the Great Lakes, but I have friends and family who live near the Great Lakes. When that lake effect thing takes place, it's just not good, man. It is wicked weather, which I think it's featured on a Weather Channel show called Wicked Weather. The first episode was the Seeking the Edmund Fitzgerald.
So Lars Man goes, if Jets get Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray, I become a fan quick, especially with that defense. Maybe. I don't know. Mayfield. I don't know. Baker Mayfield, he makes great commercials, but he ain't exactly lighting the world up there with the Panthers, that's for sure. Kyler Murray, I think he needs to be under the right coach, man. He's a dynamic player, that guy. All right. So before we go to our next break, I thought this was neat. This just came in. Death of Superman 30th anniversary special, number 1, CGC graded 9.8. Suggested retail of $99.99. We have the one available for $75.
Wow, man, this really takes me back to, Dan Jurgens, John Bogdanove. There was a time where
Jerry Ordway.
There was a time where the artists on Superman were like, you look back on it now and you're like, seriously, they all did the book at about the same time? Yeah. They all, there was a period of time where Superman was the best looking book on the shelf each week, which for Superman, this doesn't really happen that much. I mean, you'll get John Byrne on the book and then it moves on, or you'll get somebody else and they'll move on. But when they were releasing Superman pretty much every week leading up to this, I mean, you get like Jurgens' work, Ordway. I think one week they threw in like a George Perez thing.
Yeah, Butch Guys came in, Stuart Amonin came in, they were consistent. They stayed on those books for a long time too. I love that era of Superman, the triangle era, we call it, right? Because of the little number that would tell you, because there would tell you 5 different titles, but it told you what order to read them in.
It told you what order to read them on, and there were, it was sort of like, I don't want to say it's a golden age for Superman, but it was. Superman had not been very hip, very cool. I was just going to mention Tom Grummett, Neil. They made this effort to push Superman to the forefront, right?
Right.
I mean, after Dark Knight, Batman got to the forefront, stayed to the forefront, and still hasn't left. It's been, 40 years, 30, whatever it has been. But they made a concerted effort. Someone said, we're going to kill Superman, and everything went from there, right? And I think Dan Jurgens and other creators have talked about this, but there was this sustained, to use a pro wrestling term, push to get Superman front and center to add impact to his death. And then, the return to the different Superman or whatever. But some of the people on those books, like you go back and you look and you're like, oh yeah, I almost forgot this person wrote this story or that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Roger Stern drops in for, like a 10-issue story, and you're like, wow. I mean, it's like these are like huge Hall of Fame level.
I mean,
names.
It was huge news. I mean, mainstream news was picking up the story about this.
It was like Time or Newsweek or something.
Yeah,
they killed Superman.
Do you know why they decided to kill him? Like where that came from? So they were like going to have the wedding finally. They were going to have Superman and Lois Like she finds out that he's Clark Kent. He proposes and they're going to get married, right? They had been building up to this. This was their big game plan. And then the Lois and Clark show came out. So then the higher ups of DC were like, we can't marry him. And then they were like, well, what do we do now? And then somebody, I think it may have been Mike Carlin or someone's like, well, let's just kill him. And they were like, what if we did?
How are we going to do that?
And then what's funny is after they kill him and Lois and Clark get married. So kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a weird time for Superman. It was sort of, and I think OUG said it, some of the stories were amazing. And some of the stories at that time, to be honest, were less than amazing. You know what I mean? But as an entirety, as a run, that's like a 3-4 year period where people at the comic book store are talking about Superman. Like, you know, and that just...
good or bad.
Yeah, people from our generation, that didn't happen too often. Batman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, ad nauseum. There weren't too many people, you know, when the comic book store opens going, get me my Superman. There just wasn't a lot of that. And, you know, you would get these good stories. You know, I remember, like, Chris Sprouse did, like, a few pages from, like, Superman talking to, like, the Legion of Superheroes or something. And I just, you know, like, you would see, and like, suddenly you would want Chris Sprouse to do a Superman book, right? And you could kind of tell where he was going with that because you see Chris Sprouse on Tom Strong later.
So
you see what it could have been.
Tom Bishop, it is the Death of Superman 30th anniversary special, CGC graded 9.8, is $75 tonight. We have the one available for $75, buddy.
Yeah, I've seen that too. There's you just said it. There was on the Roku channel. They do these things. They create this content where, you know, I've seen one for Chris Claremont, like the big events, right? I've seen like one for the X-Men. I've seen the one for the Death of Superman, where they kind of just sit down decades later and say, okay. And it's really funny. I saw one with the X-Men, and you've got like Chris Claremont and Vicente, a couple other people from that period in the room, and even they can't entirely clearly remember what went on in 1984. Right. You know what I mean? They're still a little bit, you know, like a little bit fuzzy.
All right, so I'm going to let's throw one more book out there. Oh, this is a good one. Talking about Dan Jurgens. Lord of the Jungle #1, Atlas Edition, signed by Dan Jurgens. And it's just retail $49.99, and we have the one available for $40.
Yeah, Nick wouldn't let me take this version home.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, I did get the Barreto Gallardo black and white one, though. That made me happy.
I love the Gary Frank covers on this series. They're amazing.
They just decided to go nuts. I mean, if you look at the covers from issue 1, even the regular covers, I mean, yeah, sure, the variants are really cool or whatever, but even just like the basic, you know, covers for this are wild.
Let's see. I'm trying to catch up on the OUG says I saw the Chris Claremont one that I think John is talking about. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's like on Amazon or something. I mean, it's not. It's just like a really neat idea. They did one for Image. You know what I mean? And everybody sort of has nice things to say, and then you get to Todd McFarlane, and he's like,
Sheldon,
let me tell you how it was.
Yeah, that's why John wanted to take this version.
And yeah, the green signature one. You know what? I can't complain though, because last week I got the Sheena in green, and that goes back to the other Sheena in green I got from J. Scott Campbell. That was pretty cool.
All right, so
Louise Simonson, thank you, large man. I couldn't remember her name. Anna Senti was in that. Chris Claremont was in that. Louise Simonson was in that. They were sort of talking about that era.
So I mean, you know, what's weird is it's been so long. I think this is when I actually entered the business was around the time, you know, the Death of Superman, the Breaking of Batman, all of that is when I had started getting involved in the industry.
Well, that's when you had people leave. And I made this analogy on my radio show a couple years back. The way you had the kind of Image era pull people who were lawyers and engineers saying, no, you know what? I want to open a comic book store. I want to do this. I want to get into the collectibles market. Is the same thing that happened with food trucks a few years back. You had people leaving. One of the best food trucks in the city, she was a dentist. And she just decided she was done cleaning people's teeth.
Right.
And she started doing mac and cheese. There's this weird sort of a vibe where something kind of hits. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Zeitgeist might be too intellectual for this, but it's just, it hits and people are like, you know, I remember Image coming out and it was wild. They're talking about it like on the news.
Right.
Rob Liefeld was on Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I remember Liefeld sitting down to talk to Dennis Miller when Dennis Miller had a talk show. Right.
Dennis Miller.
And then about 2 or 3 days later, Todd McFarlane was doing sketches with, I can't remember who it was, on MTV with the VJs. I want to say maybe it was Nina Blackwood, but they're talking and he's in the background doing a sketch.
All right, we got to take our second break, so stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner. Who would win, Batman or Superman? It's the age-old debate, except it's so much more complicated than that. Nerd Killer Warfare every week on The Experience is your chance to debate other nerds in the questions we've all been asking for years, except we take those debates and turn them up to 11. Go to bit.ly/EXP casting or scan the QR code to be part of the show.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
I thought Nick was going to.
I know. I was waiting. Nick was here.
Your spot, and then you moved off.
I wanted to say hi, everybody. Thanks for being here, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And as always, really appreciate you being here. You guys are the best. So just wanted to say thanks. But then you guys were rushing in there. I'm like, I can't screw up their show.
Did you want to do an announcement of 7 million copies of Gargoyles have been pre-ordered?
I wish.
All right, you know what?
I'm happy with 179,000.
That is huge. We joke around a lot, but that's legitimate. People really want to read Gargoyles. I'm really looking forward to this. I've seen some of the covers and stuff that they're going to do for Gargoyles. That's
we'll probably have something on as soon as it hits.
I was going to say we'll probably do a segment show something because there's a lot of pre-orders for that book.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Okay, so the giveaway tonight is Eternals Thanos Rises CGC grade 9.8. And all you got to do is put hashtag LoveEXP, all lowercase, to enter. No purchase necessary. And we'll do the drawing immediately after best offers end at 7:55. All righty. So circle that there. All right. And you know what? Let's do another CCA. gargoyles over Vaporella, but what about the collars? Preston, how do you know that the gargoyles don't have collars? Actually, I don't know that. So, but
it's a Disney book. There's no collars on Disney books.
There's no collars on the gargoyles. Don't really wear much.
People.
Next thing you know, you guys will be asking about collars on Darkwing Duck, man. I don't.
Darkwing Duck does have a collar.
That's what I thought. Thank you. All right. So next up, we've got Mighty Avengers #1, signed with War Machine cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza.
Man, wow! I am not the biggest War Machine fan, but that is amazing.
I know. I did it weird, and I thought I answered it, but I will answer it again. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Thomas. I wasn't sure if you caught it. It's just a retail $149.99, and we have the one available for $75. Jerem, what's up, buddy? Let me see.
You missed the first hour.
It's all right, buddy. It's time for a Rex cap anyway.
If you've seen this one show, you've seen them all.
Yeah, pretty much, right? All right, let's do a Rex cap real quick. Since Jerem just joined us.
Did we get to Thomas's question about the Superman side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did. John, we will be on Wednesday night, my friend. So no telling. Well, I will, and Alec will. John's going on one of his many vacations again. So
who among us hasn't had a 6-day Thanksgiving weekend? I'll be back next Monday.
That would represent the majority. Okay.
I'll have you know I spent a significant amount of money to get a heritage bird from Pennsylvania. There's not going to be any.
I don't even know what that means.
Frozen butterball. There's there's different breeds of turkeys, right?
No. Why would I know that? Why would I know that?
If Triple B is asking about the Mighty Avengers being Monica's first appearance, no, her first appearance is back in the 80s or late 70s, right?
I think that, yeah, I'm going to say Monica Rambeau is maybe not Secret Wars. I'm trying to think where. Yeah, but it's like
right before Secret Wars or something.
I think it's right before Secret Wars because I think she's in Secret Wars.
Yeah, she
had a disco costume.
I can't even believe you thought I would know that there are different breeds of turkey. Guys,
Amazing Spider-Man Annual. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16. Early 80s is the first.
Wow, thank you, CJ.
You are right. We are having veggie sandwich today.
Oh,
so I saw veggie depleted. So with hearts, apple hearts.
All right. Well, while you're here, I might as well do the Rex cap.
I was going to say, do the Rex cap.
All right. So we have, as always, Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles, suggested retail $40 or higher. And as always, as a thank you to our viewers, we have it for $5, so 50 cents a copy. Then we had Fear Itself, Sins Past, signed by Jim McCann. And we have the one available, number 62
Rex,
100.
Rex did not kidnap Rudolph. I hid Rudolph from Rex.
Which is a smart decision. We have the one available for $19.62. Then we did Uncanny X-Men #1, a young variant signed in gold by Scotty Young. It's just a retail of $89.99. It is #1. We have one available. It is number 13 of 15 signed in gold. And it's one of our 5-star $50 books.
You know what? Let's make that 40.
All right. So now it is a 5-star at $40 book.
No, it's a fantastic 40.
Nice.
It's fantastic at 40. Is the Rex
the Bumble
Snow Monster?
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
No, because he makes friends with Rudolph at the end. That will not happen on this episode.
Rex is the uncut version, the character that tried to kill Rudolph. They had to keep him out. So,
all right, you got it, Lars, man.
What else we got?
Hold on. Let me jot this down. Okay, so then
Lars man's claiming the Uncanny book.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, thanks, bro. All right, so then we have Lord of the Jungle #1, Atlas Edition, signed by Dan Jurgens. Suggested retail $49.99. We have one available. It is at $40.
Let's make it $29.99.
All right. So new veggie
signed by
the
Death of Superman Man. And this is a great story. You got to pick it up.
Is this the birth of the Emerald Signature Series?
Keep going.
That means no. Keep going.
Send him an email. Lars Man is claiming Lord of the Jungle.
Nice.
All right. You got it, Lars Man.
That's really. We have had some creators sign books in green, though. It looks really cool because it's not a common color. Like we have the Golden Signature Series, which is.
What else we got?
John, you just like the color green, dude.
What else we got?
All right, here we go. So then we had Mighty Avengers #1 signed with War Machine cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail $149.99, and we have the one available for $75.
Let's do 62 for the year Iron Man first coming out in Tales of Suspense.
All right, so that is now
62.
62.
Signer likes that Spider Woman.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Spider Woman has been claimed, Sinner.
I'm sorry, Sinner.
Sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, it was claimed by Lars, man.
Sorry, man.
All right, so Mighty Avengers is now went from 75 to 62. Hey, Joel, what's up, buddy?
I really like the way the armor was done here. It's almost like stealth armor.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's not the bright. Usually, there's a brightness to War Machine armor, right? I kind of like that. There's like a duller tone. It's more. You know what I mean? I really like that.
We're not going to watch it in closed caption this year, especially when you say it like that.
Oh, man. All right. So then we had Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special #1 CGC graded 9.8. Suggested retail of $99.99, and we have one available for $75.
Let's do it at $69.99.
Right.
I mean, this is an expensive book too. This is
it's like an $11 cover price.
This is $10.99. Wow.
Yeah, they're proud of that one.
So, Lord of the Jungle, Big Time Spider-Girl, and X-Men. What else has been claimed? What else has been claimed?
Uncanny Spider-Girl, the FF 585, Lord of the Jungle.
Oh, who claimed the 585? Smart.
Preston.
Good call, Preston.
And then the Mighty Avengers Shuri Black Panther.
Nice.
All right. And then finally, we had Red Sonja #8, Premium Metal Virgin cover by Joseph Michael Linzer. It is a best offer book starting at $50.
Okay, why don't we just make that 50 and keep it there?
All right. So that is now just 50, not a best offer. So now we have no best offers to close. So
the first person to get to 50 gets it. Is there any tape issues on the books? Claim Red Sonja.
You got it, Lars, man.
Tape issues? Do we have to do the holofoil seal thing? I thought everybody knew by now. These are specially manufactured. Did not do that.
What's the Eternals at?
That's the giveaway.
The Eternals is good.
Oh, well, in that case.
Nick's about to change it, be like, okay, it's no longer the giveaway. It's $29.99. Whoever wins the giveaway, pay for it.
All right, Tom, I can't remember if you had a claim with us before, but Jay, if you could throw up the link to the submission form, fill out the submission form, Thomas. Very important email address, ship to address, and then we'll invoice you tomorrow, buddy.
By the way, incoming. This is number 2 of 25. This is signed by Donnie Cates. This is a huge book. What do we got this at?
Did we get to it yet?
Hold on. Let me get Tom Bishop down from Death of Superman. All right, I'm sorry. What book was it again?
Incoming.
No, we haven't done that yet. All right, so Incoming #1, signed in silver by Donnie Cates. Suggested, let me see. We have one available, 2 of 25 for $69.99.
We'll make this a 5-star at 50. I'm out before I give away anything else.
All right.
I just got a text from the board of directors.
All right, so that
I've been trying to get fired for years.
All right, so that Incoming #1, originally $69.99. Now it is the OUG. I'll get to that one next, buddy. It is now $50. All right, for Incoming #1. And then the Batman Superman that OUG wanted to see, that is Batman Superman #1, first printing, signed by Jay Lee.
That's nice.
And we have one available, number 11 of 12, signed in red. And it is available for $39.99.
This is like power. His style is powerfully stylistic. Everything we see him do. It doesn't matter if it's Vampirella or Red Sonja. It doesn't matter if it's something like Superman or Batman. He just puts his stamp with his style on those characters, and I think that.
And he's always had some kind, like even in his early days, where his art looked a little bit different. You can still look at it and tell it's distinctly Jay Lee and very stylized. Like his stuff in Youngblood Strike File #1. He did that Chapel story.
Oh my God, I was forgetting about that.
Lars, so all right, you got it, Lars, man.
I have a Jay Lee black and white. I'm going to say I think it's Vampirella or Vampirella Strikes. Like I to see that work in black and white is just. I'm just amazed at that.
Do you remember when he did in one of your more recent Kiss stories? He did like covers, and each issue was a different member of Kiss, and those were awesome. Those were so cool.
Yeah, you're probably right, Lars, man. So Robbie and I had a very interesting discussion on Friday. That one, I saw a lot of people like the controversial stuff. I've noticed when we're talking about something that's controversial. So since we got John here,
it's controversial.
All right. So you're not controversial. Your shirt is a little bit, but beyond that, no. The topic was what are we expecting from the DC universe? Okay, with Gunn,
James Gunn,
yeah, in charge now, and then somehow that conversation devolved, didn't it?
Well, because you always had, angry guy yelling at the cloud. You had to go on about Zaslav.
Fans like that.
You had to go off about Zaslav and Batgirl
just
again.
Just what comics needs, another show with an angry yelling.
The fans love it.
I just want you to know we got several comments that said, "Bro, nobody wanted to see Batgirl. What are you talking about?"
That's why I don't read the comments. Okay, it doesn't bother me.
What are we gonna? Well, Robbie, you go first.
Well, basically, what I was saying was, I think that we're gonna have someone. The idea is that him and what's Peter Safran? Is that his name?
Yeah.
They're forming the plan right now, like an 8 to 10 year plan. They want to tell a story. They want to get there. But from what I'm expecting from James Gunn is to pick creators and let creators create, right? He is he's very much a creator who flourishes when he has control, right? I also think he's incredibly in touch with fans and what fans want, right? And I think that now for the first time, not only will we have a cohesive vision, because we have had people come in like Zack Snyder, no matter what you thought about it, he had a vision about what he wanted to do, but the studios, apparently, there was always a lot of interference in everybody's projects on the DC stuff, right? But I feel there will be less like interference from the studio, more control in the creator's hands, but I also just think he knows and understands and appreciates what fans want out of these properties and how to deliver it. That's what I think. So I expect good things.
Well, OUG says she wanted to see Batgirl.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I wanted to see Batgirl too. I understand that there were weird contract, tax, corporate reasons that they buried I would have liked to have seen that. I'm looking to see anything other than Batman. One of the things I liked, what I think was James Gunn said was, we're not going to have a different Batman every year when he sort of, assumes control of DC. We're not going to do that. Everything is going to fit.
Was the one who said, we're not going to have 4 Batmans just recently. And that's when I went off.
To be honest with you, I did not like I wasn't even really a huge Christian Bale fan. They're having trouble getting a Batman that connects.
Well, you don't like Batman, period.
I was going to say that's the problem. I'm in the minority. I'm not a big Batman fan. I really liked Michael Keaton. Since then, I'm kind of struggling to, for me, Batman just recently passed is Kevin Conroy. That's the Batman. If there's any version of Batman I like, it's Animated Adventures. I like that style of Batman. And I think the Michael Keaton movie came closest to that style. Like a little bit of like a little pseudo retro type style. I think once they moved past that, I was like, if you look at like the Val Kilmer Batman, that is a movie that is the essence of the 1990s.
Yeah, that was
like they were like, that movie had like no shelf life.
Yeah, that was universally.
What is the James Gunn DCU going to look like, or DCEU or whatever they call it? I think it depends. Robbie hit a key issue. They're working towards a story, right? There's like the reason Marvel got to where they went to was they had this idea, and Kevin Feige admitted it wasn't fully formed until later. But the idea they wanted to get to was the huge crowd pop moment of Avengers Assemble, right? And they took all these twists and turns and things changed and people came and went, but they sort of had this idea that they wanted to do Thanos, they wanted to do the Infinity Stones, they wanted to do that sort of all of us versus all of them moment. I think it depends which DC story, major story point that Gunn works towards. Will it be Crisis on Infinite Earths? Will it be something more, Deceased? I think it depends what he's working for or towards.
Right.
I don't think it will be like a direct sort of swipe of what Marvel's doing, but I think having worked with Marvel, he's had a better view than most of what works and what doesn't.
So Thomas Bishop also, I think not releasing the Batgirl film at all is a major misfire. So again, I'll go back to that point. I think the problem is it was the message that it was sending. Okay. If you're going to go with, the movie was crap and they didn't do a good job of it, then go with it. Okay. But they didn't go with that. They kind of went with that and they kind of went with, well, it was a business decision. Hey, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody cares that
the other thing that started coming out about it was that the Batgirl film was set in that at one point they had a vision that they wanted to do, and they wanted to age up Superman and Batman, right? And that's why Michael Keaton was going to be Batman. And they wanted Batgirl and Supergirl to be the anchors of the newest wave of DC films. And they decided not to do that. So this movie that reflects this, and that's one of the reasons why they're adding all these changes into Flash, because the Flash movie was supposed to set up that world, right? And now they don't want to do that. And so that's one of the biggest reasons why they shelved it, was because it was part of a vision that they no longer were going to go with.
Well, there becomes wait. No, but there becomes a question then. Okay, you hired Gunn to do this. Okay, so are you saying that you're going to handcuff him and say, look, we know you're creative, but this is the way we vision it, and who's we? Okay, clearly a bunch of accountants and executives did not have a coherent plan. Everything that they do is just pissing the fans off more. So now you said, okay, well, we understand we're out of our depth, so that's why we're hiring Gunn and Safran to run the show and be kind of our version of Kevin Feige. All right, I don't care if it was Bob Iger or Chapek who was CEO. You didn't hear him talk, either one of them talk about how this is the direction we see the MCU going. All right, worry about shareholder value, buddy. Let Gunn and his creative juices do what he's going to do. All right. And I don't think that Gunn even has an idea of exactly what direction he wants to go. And, he just got hired into the position. So he's looking at it.
He has a plan. And he's told us what his plan is.
Right. But it's a plan, a framework that still needs to be fleshed out. Yeah. Okay. So then you got your CEO going on holding press conferences. They're not going to be 4 Batmans. How do you know that? This is the point I tried to make to Robbie. Maybe Gunn decides, we're going to do a little Spider-Man thing. We're going to have all 4 Batmans, in one movie. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that that's going to happen or it's even a good idea, but how do you know? Okay. Gunn hasn't even gotten the seat warm. Let the man do his thing. Look. He took a marginal comic book title, Guardians of the Galaxy, and turned it into a success. He then took, what by everybody's admission, Suicide Squad was, a disaster that it's not bad enough. We did it bad once. Let's do it again. Okay. But this time we're going to throw a talking shark into it and it'll fix everything. Right. Then took a side character who, albeit was very interesting in the movie, and turned it into a series. All right. I'm going to trust that guy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to trust the CEO who Robbie reminds me, again, reality show guy, but Robbie reminds me that he was working on TV sitcoms before. Okay. But again, that universe has changed so much. All right. The days of a Friends or a Seinfeld, they don't really exist anymore.
It was Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man was the backbone of that.
Oh, yeah. It was Polka Dot Man. You're right, Jay. I'm sorry.
Polka Dot Man's pretty dope.
David Dashmalian, who's actually wrote a very cool comic book.
I just think that the CEO thinks, Zaslav thinks he wants to be Kevin Feige. Okay. And then realize that, well, gee, nobody else in the world thinks I'm Kevin Feige. So maybe we better hire somebody that can actually be Kevin Feige.
Well, they're not going to capture. Let's put it this way. If people are trying to capture the first decade of Marvel Studios, that's lightning in a bottle. That's not going to happen again. There are ways to achieve your goals, make a lot of money, tell stories, but that's not going to happen again. The Marvel Studios story of decade one, that's like a one in a zillion thing that works. Well, you get the right collection of guys, that. Jon Favreau, just people you did not think were going to. I mean, look at some of the people who worked on Marvel movies. Kevin Feige gets a lot of the credit, but he didn't work alone.
Hey, just to be sure I didn't miss something. Let me see.
Yeah, Larsman claim incoming.
Right?
Larsman wants to claim incoming.
Oh, I missed that one. Okay, hold on.
It's because you were busy raging against the machine.
You were, man.
Paying attention.
I don't know what that dude did to you personally, Rex, but you do not like him. I've learned
that. Like him
You know what it is? Obviously, I don't know the man personally.
Go to commercial. Go commercial.
No, don't go to commercial. We're going to stay on with no commercial breaks now. You know what it is? Stay in your lane. That's my attitude. Stay in your lane. Okay, you're an executive. You come from a world of reality TV and sitcoms. Okay, that doesn't make you creative. All right, you hired somebody to do this job, and basically, we all believe it was a very good hire. I think. We're optimistic about it. So why are you talking about we're not going to have 4 Batmans? You already have 4 Batmans, man. Okay, so just let Gunn run with it. Okay, create his own universe. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear what nobody but the shareholders at the annual stock, shareholders meeting wants to hear you say anything other than profit loss. Where do we see the money coming from, and what's going to happen to shareholder value, and the price of the stock. Nobody wants to hear that you don't believe that 4 Batmans. You believe that the best financial plan was to shelve Batgirl. Nobody wants to,
I'm just trying to figure out, Rex, who you hate more, FIFA or this guy. I can't tell. It's like the same.
I
think FIFA is more of a short-term kind of thing, because obviously the World Cup will be over and we don't have to discuss it again for 4 more years. This is pretty much a longer term. So I think it's a different kind of anger, if you will. Okay.
Nice.
FIFA's more road rage. This is more a mortal enemy of my family kind of thing. So it's different. You know what I'm saying?
There's like some kind of deep-rooted family feud going back generations.
Hatfield McCoys. Exactly. Thank you.
Yikes. There were a couple things that we should probably address while you recharge your rage battery.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
One was 62 Lefty Blues. Batman is not a ripoff of Green Hornet. Batman is a ripoff of The Shadow, just to be clear. There's no originality there at all. Everything Batman does, The Shadow does better.
So I'm going to pass the rage baton over?
No, there's no rage. It's just, if anything, you could make the argument that Green Hornet is a ripoff of the Lone Ranger because they're created by the same people and they're sort of descendants of, the Green Hornet is a descendant.
You all want to see rage? Here it comes. Green Hornet sucks. Oh, man.
The Wangs and the Zaslavs. Oh, no. That's
somebody pick up a banjo.
There's something else. Scroll back a little bit. There's something else I missed that I wanted to.
All right, hold
on. All right. About Green Hornet, Van Williams, because he and Adam West were neighbors.
I did not know they were neighbors, by the way.
Van Williams is like an interesting dude. After that guy was the Green Hornet, he led a pretty interesting life. I really like the fact that he was a guy that sort of got into acting, did his thing, had some success, and figured, you know what? This is not how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. It's hard to walk away from when you're on TV. I admire people that do that. Musicians, people who are like, you know what? I had my 15 minutes of fame. There were bands that were enormous in the 80s and 90s, and some of them are still playing the cocktail lounge in Atlantic City Casino trying to recapture glory days, and others have decided. One of my favorite guys in this scenario is Thomas Dolby.
Is that a name drop?
No,
Large man's waiting for one. He's getting a little part.
He had a big hit, Blinded Me with Science. He had a great little run. Then the guy took his money and went home. He started like some kind of software consulting company.
He's the guy that did Dolby. Like the sound system, like that's where that name comes. He's rich without that song. You know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
going to say, there were people who were fine saying, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. So, you know what? I wouldn't say I hate Batman. I hate the overhyping of Batman. DC has kind of pushed itself into a one character universe, and I'm kind of hoping if James Gunn does anything, he makes the movies about more characters.
That's one of the things I thought about was that James, like, because everybody was saying, well, how are we going to keep doing the Robert Pattinson Batman films, but we're supposed to have everything clear and concise? How about less of an impact of Batman on the DC universe? There's plenty of other characters to utilize and tell stories with, and Batman could just be a minimal part of that universe, you know?
I'd be fine with that.
So I want to answer Sinner 24 because you joined us late. No, I don't have a problem with the World Cup at all. I don't have a problem with the best of the best.
This is hour one.
I have a problem with FIFA, and I have a problem with the host country, Qatar. Okay? So just to be clear. So no problem with the World Cup at all. Stevie B, I like that. What's your beef, Rex? I like that. We'll have a whole segment for that.
I heard I heard the bat signal of tech nerds like me. Thomas Dolby was shining.
Yes,
that's the bat signal for producers and people like me. John, did you need me for something?
No, my point was I have a lot of respect for guys like that sort of had had some fun in the 80s. You know what I mean? They did their thing and then they went on to live their lives. And that was
I'll go back to being the Batman of the show and just lurking in the shadows while Jake takes all the credit.
But I didn't know that story about Dolby, by the way. But yeah, I do remember, for a period of time, every movie, Dolby surround sound.
Yeah.
By the way, the THX guys that John loves so much for his theater experience when he goes 75 times to see a movie, all of those guys were the guys who worked at Dolby Digital until Thomas shut down Dolby Digital, and they left to form THX, which is now the gold standard in sound engineering.
That would make sense then, yeah. Yeah, so you see that on every Pixar movie, the THX thing, so that would make sense. All right, so let's get to... all right, let's get to...
We have to take a break.
Oh, crap. Yeah, we do. You know what?
It's like you ranted a little too long, Rex.
I know. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there. Hi there. Hello there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out. There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Copeland. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadet.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectables.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box? What's in the Box?
Comic culture and sales.
Hey, this is Pat Shand. I'm at New York Comic Con. I have books here, Gangster Ass Barista. This is in trade now. My own company, Space Between, coming out in single issues from Black Mass Studios in November. I am happy to be here. And what else should I say? I'm probably on Kickstarter now. No matter what time it is, I'm probably going to be doing one right now. And you are watching this on The Experience.
Hey, we're back, and Stevie B has a pizza oven question, right? So that's right. That's what happens on this show. You can get advice on anything.
It's kind of funny.
I cannot answer this question mainly because my pizza comes in a box. Okay, and it's excellent pizza. You know, tons of pizza places I can order from.
I brought you pizza in a box.
Yes, you brought me pizza in a box, and I order pizza in a box. But go ahead, you can answer that question for Stevie B.
I built an outdoor pizza oven from a YouTube video I watched using bricks and slate and stuff like that. And I take it down in the winter because I don't want the stones to get ruined. I'll tell you right now, probably this year for Christmas, one of the things on my list is a Bighorn pizza oven because I don't want to. I got good results with the slate method, but
it's got to be a pain to take down every winter.
It's a pain to take it down. During the pandemic, I wasn't going anywhere,
right.
So it was fine cooking it, fanning it a little bit. Oh, I made pizza dough or whatever. But yeah, he doesn't want it to become a storage closet, right? My advice to anyone who gets anything, whether it's a smoker, and Kyle can probably speak on this too, right? If someone gets a smoker, if someone gets a deep fryer, you have to commit to using it. If it's something you're going to dabble with, then it's probably not worth it.
I would never get one only because I know that with the ease to get a pizza ordered in this area, why? I don't even buy those frozen ones, those big ones that you should just pop in. Why? I get a really good one right next to the shop, right? You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
Why would I buy that pizza? I could just go over to Angela's and order one.
For me, it's an ego.
Right? Well, no, I mean,
you want to be able to do your
own.
That's
your business, or it was your business. Now your business is watching MCU movies in the movie theater, Regal, and putting them out of business. But I
want to be the last person in the theater when the light goes out. Like, thanks everybody. Put my popcorn bucket down.
So I can understand why you would do it, but for a normal everyday person who I can cook basics. I cooked when my daughter was young, but I'm not a chef.
See, but there are people in parts of the country, and I traveled a lot in this country. There are parts of this country where pizza is like Papa John's.
Right. No, I understand that.
Tell you,
I do understand that. I've had pizza in that part of the country. I'll never do it again.
When you come from, whether it's Chicago pan pizza or California or the Northeast, when you come from a place where the pizza is really good, and then you kind of get to some place where maybe the pizza isn't so great.
I mean, if you have young kids, it's really fun, okay? Because they get to put it together and then you stick it in the oven. But I ain't buying no outdoor pizza oven for like an activity you're going to do once a year.
I will say this. One of the things I really like is I've gotten to the point in my life where I want everything very specific. And if you don't give me what I want, I'll say thank you. I'm not going to talk to the manager or anything. I just don't go. I'll do it myself. I won't, if you're one of those people that this is the way I want something, right? Like if I go into a pizza shop here in New Jersey and I tell them I want Taleggio cheese and hot Kappa ham, okay, I got it, no problem. They do whatever, it's fine. Roasted garlic. I move even out to, I have family out in Lancaster, PA. I can't get that pizza. So I've got family members out there that have a Bighorn pizza oven. They got the Blackstone griddle. Because
I'm not quite that picky. I mean, that's really picky, bro.
Well, that's what things are for.
John wouldn't like eating pizza in Alabama. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I avoided it like the plague, dude. We had when we were there at Gulf Shores with the team. So after we were done, we did a little team bonding thing at a bowling alley, and of course for the kids, we ordered pizza. I had one slice of that, dude. It was. What's that place? With all the arcades and stuff and the big mouths.
Chuck E. Cheese?
Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. Dude, it made Chuck E. Cheese look like gourmet pizza.
So you ordered it. You ordered it in an Alabama bowling alley?
Well, I didn't order it. The parents did. I just showed up because my daughter and I just showed up, because it was.
I'll tell you, that's just a tombstone pizza.
Yeah.
If I'm in a place like Alabama or Kentucky, I know well enough that I'm going to order the food that they're good at. You know what I mean? I get that far south, I start looking for barbecue, real barbecue, right? I start looking for things. I've been to Alabama before, down to Mobile, and some of the seafood there is the best I have had in this country, just hands down. Some of the food that they had in Mobile, before the hurricane hit, and they had like more outdoor places open near where the resorts were. There was a place called, I'm going to say it's Shipley's, but that might be wrong. And it was just an open air bar, nothing fancy, big event grill. They would get this fresh, amazing seafood from the Gulf. They had like a house blend seasoning, and they had a house oil. Everything got tossed, cooked, and it came out with a cold beer. And I'll tell you right now, I'd take that over a steak dinner any day.
So, Lars, man, in my defense, no, I did not go to Gulf Shores and deliberately try to eat pizza. It just so happened we were there bowling with the kids, and then the parents ordered, hey, let's get pizzas. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay. I spent my entire time, almost every single night, we ate somewhere seafoody. All right. And I'd be looking for places online.
You're on 4chan raging about a machine.
And I mentioned this to you, Robbie, and you didn't know, but I'm telling you, they come right out of the Gulf. Those Royal Reds, those big shrimp. Oh my God, they do. I'm telling you, it tastes like langostinos. So every seafood place we went to had it. Like you buy the big seafood, for 2 platter thing, right? And they have all this steamed stuff, and every single place we went to it. So I just assumed it was a very local thing coming out of the Gulf, which I found out it was. So I assumed you had it, but that was fantastic. I mean, the only other thing was, and then my daughter stopped going after the second day. Every morning I would go to Waffle House. I love Waffle House. I
love Waffle House too. Waffle House is great. We just had Waffle House not too long ago. It's fantastic food.
We don't have Waffle House. We actually, from here in our area, we have to go all the way to Delaware. That's the closest Waffle House.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, and they start picking up in Maryland, and it starts to get a little bit more frequent.
That's like our thing. Like if we're going out, like if I'm out of town to go to like a show or something like that, see a band play or something, on the way back, it's always Waffle House, because there's always one. You're going to come across so many of them, and they're always open. And ain't nothing better than like a patty melt. And then like, I love the hash browns, scattered, covered, smothered, topped, capped, all that stuff, man.
Whenever we go south, and that's why my daughter is just sick of it, so she won't go with me anymore. But anytime we go south, you can be guaranteed I am hitting that Waffle House in the morning. Period. End of story. I'm not doing nothing else, because I'm not going to do diners, because I do diners here in New Jersey. Tons of them. I'm doing the Waffle House, and I love it. I personally love it. So I'm a big Waffle House guy.
We do have some good pizzerias around here, though, just so y'all know. We got one called like Pana de Vio, and it's like near the art museum. We got one called like Cork and Crust. Those are the more ritzy, kind of ones. But for the most part, it's just Domino's and
I'll tell you
Marco's.
I'll tell you what concerns me a little bit about Waffle House not being in this area. How do we know how bad a hurricane is in the power outage? Right?
Yes, exactly. Because if Waffle House closes,
we don't have any Waffle Houses.
Yeah, that's a good barometer. If Waffle House is closing, then you better board up them windows.
Well, no, I mean where Waffle House is numerous, they that's for real. I'm not even joking. Like communities and counties and stuff, they will. Yes, I will. Creative. They call it the Waffle House factor. There's a name for it. And they use that to gauge how bad each area is, because if Waffle House is closed, you ain't got no power. Okay. You got nothing. Okay. It's bad. All right. And you really use Waffle House as a barometer, man.
Yeah,
Believe it or not.
Just like Wawa. It's great at 3 a.m. That's their Wawa.
Yeah.
If Wawa is closed, things have gone south.
I saw someone in the chat. I say that Waffle House sells more steak than anybody else. That's ridiculous to me. But my buddy Jelani, every time we go to Waffle House, he gets steak and eggs, and I just look at him and be like, "You are playing a dangerous game, bruh. Getting steak and eggs from a Waffle House at 2:30 in the morning, man." Because I just make a patty melt or grilled cheese.
All right, here we go. The Waffle House Index or Scale is named after the 24-hour breakfast change. Invented by former FEMA director, this scale determines the severity of a storm on whether or not the Waffle House in the area is open. The scale is colored based with red, yellow, and green indicators. I was not kidding. I read that. I'm like, get out, dude. So Waffle House. I wish they would open one around here, but I don't think it's going to happen. If they haven't managed to break in yet, they probably won't.
There's probably like 12 in my town. There's probably like 12 within 5 miles of me right now.
Oh, so jealous. And it's so reasonably priced. That's the other thing. Okay. when my daughter was playing her freshman year in college, and they started out the season in Florida, I couldn't travel with her. She traveled with the team, stayed with the team. Every single morning, I found a Waffle House about 1.5 miles from my hotel. I was there, got to the point where the waitresses knew me. All right, love Waffle House. All right. Oh, Lyle, don't do it, man. Don't go there. I love Waffle House. Don't do that. All right. So creative. Here's the Rex cap, buddy. So of course, Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles. Suggested retail $40 or higher. As always, $5 as a thank you to our viewers. And then we had Fear Itself, Sins Past, signed by Jim McCann. We have one available, number 62 of 100 for $19.62. Then we did Mighty Avengers number 1, signed with War Machine cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. And suggested retail $149.99. We had it at $75, and then Nick had his veggie sandwich, so a new vegetarian price of $62. And I hate to say it, that's it. So let's get to a few more books, I guess. All right, so we have another CCA available. X-Men Battle of the Atoms, signed with Loki cover sketch by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $149.99, and we have the one available for $75. Lyle, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man.
That's really nice, man.
Don't disparage Joe Waffle House. All right, Creative Keep is taking the War Machine. You got it, Creative.
I just love the effect that Mariano got on that.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing watching them do it. It's amazing to watch any artist do that.
That's always been my food advice, though. Always been my food advice. Eat what's local. I don't care where you are.
I agree. I would agree with
that. Like if I go into Kentucky, people were like, have you had a hot brown? Have you had this? Have you had that? I'm not looking for an Italian hoagie in parts of the country where essentially there's no Italian culture or people or communities is the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? I've eaten all around sort of like Florida, starting like St. Matthews, Georgia, everywhere that's along the ocean and the Gulf, always had amazing seafood, fresh, grouper, shellfish, whatever. I don't, also barbecue. I don't think there's any reason to travel down to, Amelia Island, Florida, and look for lasagna, unless it's seafood lasagna. Then it's a different story.
I don't want to brag. I mean, about our area, but this general area has probably some of the best pizza in the country. I'm just going to say it. All right, from New York to New Jersey to certain eastern parts of PA, really some of the best pizza.
They say it's the water up there that they use for the dough. Is that true, John? Is it?
God, I hope not. I hope not.
Water has certain mineral contents that
because New Jersey is one big super fun site, man.
Water, I would say roughly there's a certain minerality, and this gets real science and food nerdy, so I'm not going to do that. But there's a relative minerality to food from the northeastern part of the country, basically from like Boston down to like Baltimore. Dude. And then as the composition of the country changes, like geologically, the water changes, which makes sense.
Well, the first time that I had Chicago style deep dish, okay, because I was never a pan pizza sort of fan, in this area. But when I went to Chicago and had like Giordano's, I think it is, real Chicago style deep dish, man, that was something else. Of course, we way over ordered, a bunch of Northeasterners. Because we ordered enough pizza like we would have here, like a Neapolitan or a Brooklyn style pizza. Yeah, that's enough. Six of us. Yeah. Then you bring the pizza out, dude. Between 6 of us, I don't think we get to 2 of the pies.
Table and you're like, thud.
I'm like,
hey, we didn't order the lasagna, sir. We didn't order lasagna. We ordered pizzas.
I thought it was a quiche. No kidding. The thing was like this.
I was at a food show and I met Matt Malnati, who's the son of Lou Malnati, pretty well known for deep dish pizza in the Chicago area. And he very nicely fed all the exhibitors when the thing closed. He was really nice of him. And so they said, how many pizzas do you need? And I looked and I saw the number of people we had. I'm like, 6 pizzas. He's like, okay. We came back and like, each driver can only carry 3 pizzas. I'm like, what? And this thing sits down and you realize we had pizza the entire drive back from Chicago to Lebanon County, PA, where the trucks were parked. It was just pizza.
Lars, man, I agree with John. You eat local. What's the local region is known for. And I've done my fair share of travel. Like I will tell you right now, never, ever go to Taiwan and get pizza. I'm telling you, John, you and I should go there, open a pizza joint. We clean up. All right. Their pizza is basically flatbread with ketchup. Okay. That's what they think a pizza is. It's awful.
One of my friends.
But wait. He's disparaging Jersey pizza. I will disagree with you because we get pizza in Jersey from New York, from Philly, from all those areas.
Who disparaged Jersey pizza?
It was Lars, man.
Just take him out of the chat.
I don't have the power to do that. Only Jay.
Who is it? Who's it? JD? Take him out of the chat.
It's Jay.
Jay, take him out of the chat.
But
you can come back when you fly stuff.
But I mean, tomato pie, which if people don't know, that's
like a Trenton thing.
Yeah, it's a Trenton thing. What is the name of that place that always has a line out?
Di Lorenzo's?
Yeah, Di Lorenzo's. Oh my God, tomato pie is basically no cheese except some Parmesan on top. I'm telling you, dude, they have no clue what they're doing with pizza.
Pizza in Japan does have mayonnaise, but it's Kewpie mayonnaise, which is closer to a sauce. It's less offensive than if they're just dumping like Miracle Whip or something on it.
It's crap, dude. It's crap. So, John Spilios, so I got to ask you a question. There are, unfortunately, in New Jersey, as I'm sure you know, 2 Morristowns. If you're talking about the Morristown that's up northwest, and that's the way that Morristown is spelled, I have no idea. If you're talking about the one down here,
that's Morristown.
Morristown. No, there's no comic book store in there anymore. Hey, Lars, man, I agree with you. Dominican food.
One of the best food trucks in the state right now is a Dominican food truck. It's called like Star of the Coast or something. And it's just this amazing Dominican food. It's families that came here. They're like cousins of some baseball player. He gave them seed money. They were on, I don't know if it was Shark Tank. They were on one of these shows. They got an investment. And now they've got 2 trucks and the food is absolutely like, it's way better than anything you're going to find in a restaurant for Dominican food.
Triple B, we have heard of Pizza Hut or Domino's and Papa John's. I drive by that every time I go pick up my pizza at the real pizza place. Sorry. All right, so let me get through the rest of the books because I just realized we've been jabbering away. All right, so last CCA of the night, Gunslinger Spawn number 7, signed with a Gunslinger Spawn cover sketch by Ken Hazer. Suggested retail $99.99, and we have the one available for $50.
Ken said he had a lot of fun doing this.
I hope he comes back, man. It was so cool to talk to him.
He said he would at some point come back. I mean, he doesn't live
too far away.
That far away from our studio complex here where we do this.
Studio complex. All right. So next up, we have Star Wars Visions number 1, CGC graded guaranteed 9.8. Suggested retail of $99.99, and we have the one available for $77.
Man, I like that cut. Wow.
That's a
Ron, are you claiming the Gunslinger Spawn, I assume? I'm going to assume that that's it, so I'm going to jot you down, Ron.
Yeah,
just
this Star Wars
let me know.
This Star Wars
if I'm incorrect.
Super hot right now. This is a very hot book right now.
Yeah,
like incredibly hot.
It was really good on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? A lot of times people are like, oh, the Disney Plus content, I didn't like it, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, whatever. Star Wars Visions was really good.
All right, so last 3 books, Dynamite books. We have Vampirella versus Red Sonja number 1, Virgin incentive cover, 1:40 ratio by Jay Lee. Suggested retail of $50, and we have one available for $40.
Once again, speaking of Jay Lee, he comes up quite a bit.
Charging $35 for pizza.
No, I think most Jersey pizzas are about $20 now.
Yeah, pretty much.
8-slice Jersey pie is about $20. There's a certain amount. The problem for a lot of pizza makers in Jersey is there's so many really good pizza shops that if somebody tried to charge you $30 for a pizza, maybe they get you once, and you'd be like, nah, you know what, I'm good, and you'd go down the street and you'd get a pizza just as good. I
still have not been able to catch Lilo's. I really want to get out there.
Well, now that what's his name was there, Portnoy was there doing his.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Portnoy was there doing his bar fool thing, and it just said it'll, now it'll just be, it's one of the best pizzas.
What time do they open? I'll just go in the morning.
Well, that's what I do. I go in the morning because I live around the corner from. I'm literally like a mile and a half from Lilo's, so I just go and I wait. And they open up in the morning, and I got my coffee, and they open up in the morning. It's like 11-ish, they open. The second I get there, I ask Lisa, she's one of the owners. I'm like, Lisa, can I get my usual whatever pie, hoagie, cheesesteak? And I just wait in the car, and she texts me when it's ready.
Well, call me. I'll meet you there next time. Okay. All right. Then we have Vampirella Strikes, number 7, Virgin Incentive Cover, 1:25 ratio by Ben Caldwell. Suggested retail of $50, and this is bargain basement at $19.69.
Nice. I love covers like this where you get the different versions of the character like through the years. Not so much necessarily like a multiverse, but like you're getting the different eras of Vampirella, and I kind of like that.
All right, so final book of the night, Siren's Gate, number 2, Virgin FOC incentive cover, 1:10 ratio by this is going to be a challenge. Sora Sung and Sanju Nivanguni. All right, that's best I can do. Suggested retail of $50, and we have the one available for $20. All right, and to remind everybody, the giveaway is Eternals Thanos Rises, CGC graded 9.8. And all you need to do is throw up in the chat, #LoveEXP, all lowercase, and we'll probably draw it in a couple minutes. All right, make sure 62 Lefty. That's right. #Rex Rage, all in caps. That's
Rex
right.
Rage, yikes. Somebody was making a chicken enchilada casserole. That sounded delicious.
Yeah, that looked like it was Lefty.
Yeah, that sounded delicious, man.
Yeah, it does sound good, man. Creative, you missed the hashtag and you're missing next, buddy.
I don't know what it was tonight, but now I'm hungry. I'm tempted to go home and turn on the Blackstone griddle and maybe mess around a little bit.
It's too cold to be doing anything outside, man. Oof.
It's the best way to cook. When you have like larger shrimp, you can mess around in the grill or whatever. But when you have smaller shrimp, I brought some smaller shrimp back from Select in Maple Shade today.
Oh yeah, I like that place. Yeah.
The best way to do it is just salt, pepper, olive oil on the Blackstone. Toss.
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
Take it right off.
Yeah, right on Main Street in Maple Shade. Yeah,
they've had the best seafood in this area for a long time. Like nobody in Maple Shade said anything because they didn't want to line out the door. But now with all the Facebook food groups or whatever, as soon as someone's like, "Hey, where do I get crab cakes?" Select. Hey, where can I get some decent, salmon?
What do you think of Bobby Shea's?
I actually know Bobby Shea.
So what does that mean?
I was going to say, I always like to preface it like someone says,
all right, Ron.
What do you think of Tony Luke's cheesesteaks? I've been friends with Tony Luke for a long time. So when I tell you it's good, it's like full disclosure. I've known Bobby Shea for a long time.
It's $77, buddy. So I'm gonna pencil you in here, buddy. She brought back my retirement money. But yeah, I mean, in this area, pizza, cheesesteaks, obviously,
hoagies. And, you get into the debate of New York subs versus Philadelphia hoagies. Jersey being between the two as well. It depends on where you go. A lot of people are starting to discover,
and we have the best bagels.
Well, we do have the best bagels. New York is weeping, but that's because New York has become a theme park.
Yeah.
People can't afford to own a bagel store unless they charge $8 a bagel. So they come across the river into Jersey, and the next thing you know, the best bagels on the East Coast are in like Jersey City.
Yeah. All right. So
do you want to do the giveaway?
Yeah. Jay, if everybody's in, we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel. Go ahead. Hit it, Jay.
We need that sounds from whatchamacallit.
I'm going to need more than that.
Jeff
Wedding. Hey, congratulations, buddy.
Largeman, New Jersey does have the best pork roll. There are places that they make it
you mean Taylor
differently.
Ham?
No, I don't mean Taylor Ham.
Nah, I call it pork rolls too.
Pete Genevieve's talked about this before. This is like the age-old Jersey debate, pork roll, Taylor Ham.
Mm-hmm.
All Taylor Ham is pork roll, but not all pork roll is Taylor Ham. Taylor Ham is a brand.
Oh, that's
this
a good
is where
point.
people get confused, right? So whatever Taylor Ham makes, it's pork roll technically.
Right.
But there's people making pork roll in Ohio now. There's pork roll being made in Pennsylvania, which is very, very good, but it's different. It's closer to Canadian bacon than pork rolls. So.
I use that differentiation to determine where you live in the state.
Yeah.
So it's the quickest way. Are you Taylor Ham or pork roll?
You get to Interstate 195 and you get north of there and it's Taylor Ham.
Yep.
You get south of there, just like the stores. We've got Wawa. Then the next thing you know, we're at the Quick Check.
John Spilios, I don't know. I don't actually pay that much attention when it spins. I'm not sure, buddy. Sorry. Hopefully it did. Yeah. So we got a lot accomplished today. Determined that Waffle House is great. Good pizza can only be obtained here in Chicago if it's deep dish. Can't think of anything else.
I'm seeing people saying goodnight.
All right, guys. See you guys later. As always,
thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks to Robbie.
Yeah, Lars, man. There you go. Thanks as always to our buddy Robbie. And we will be back Wednesday. No John, but I'll be here with Alec from 6 to 8. And then I'm pretty sure Nick's still doing his original art show on Friday, 7 p.m. And Weird, I will be here on Wednesday with our buddy AR Comics, Alec.
I'll say this right now. Nick has got some Black Friday stuff planned. If you have time and you want to pick up some stuff, connect with Nick, find out when the shows are, where he's going to be. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving because I will not be here Wednesday. Appreciate you all watching the show. Always a blast hanging out with Reds,
Tom
Robbie.
Bishop, Jeff Wedding, our buddy Jeff Wedding won. Yeah, Tom was just asking. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so John wants to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. If you aren't able to tune in on Wednesday, then I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving as well. Robbie, certainly, have a great Thanksgiving, buddy.
Yeah, we've
too, guys.
I have no idea. Is there anything coming up next there, Jay?
Mishmash with Miss Jen.
Jay just ordered pizzas. Going, man, my pizza sucks.
Congratulations to people who won stuff.
Go ahead, Jay.
Mishmash with Miss Jen.
Okay.
We're going to get out of here. People like that show.
So,
thanks a lot.
And don't forget to tune into PCP. Robbie's going to be doing Godfather 2. One of my favorite movies of all time.
It's going to be a great conversation.
Really check out Robbie's channel. Some of the stuff that's there is really just, it's like well thought out, thought provoking. We have a lot of fun, shoot from the hip to say stuff. Robbie actually puts effort into the stuff he does, and I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and be safe.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.